Commissioner, here we are at Child Haven. Child welfare. I mean, think about all the things you do as a county commissioner. You build parks, you fix potholes, you hire people, but child welfare is probably the most awesome responsibility you and your colleagues have.
Child welfare is so important to me as a commissioner today, but a former child welfare recipient. I truly understand the need, and when we look at the need today around Clark County, I mean, it's so great, and you can just see the children who, number one, didn't ask to be here. That's number one. But more importantly, those that are struggling, who really need our support. And so, you know, it's almost like it's a blessing for me to even be able to be a part of this process, to be able to come out here and fight for services that will help these children become better citizens as they grow up.
Sadly, most of the news that comes out of here is often on the negative fashion. But at the same time, when you on any given day, there's approximately 1,000 children who have been taken into care, living outside their homes, and are in care of family services. Again, it's an awesome responsibility for the folks on the front line.
Absolutely, and it's unfortunate that, you know, we have children that have to, you know, be traumatized by situations like that. But it's also a blessing on the other hand that we have a facility like this that will be able to be a safe haven for many of those children who have nowhere else to go.
Commissioner, it's from yourself to the staff here to amazing volunteers and members of the community. It truly takes a village to help these kids here. A great example is the playground and the area right around here. A few months ago, DirecTV, a gazillion volunteers came out here and put this thing up in about 2 or 3 days.
Absolutely, it's wonderful, it's amazing. You know, do we always get it right? Absolutely not. But do we have a bunch of caring men and women who work here every single day to try to fill in the gap and to be that absentee parent for many of these babies and young people who are here? Absolutely. And so around the country, people recognize the fact that there is a need, and to be able to have those employees and volunteers to give up their time to come and give to this beautiful campus for these children, we were elated, absolutely elated.
And just looking over my shoulder, you see some of these kids that are here at Child Haven. They're no different than you and I or any other kid that's living in Summerlin or West Las Vegas or Henderson right now. They want the same things. They want love. They want to be fed. They want to have a little fun
That's
out
all
here.
they ask for. That's all these kids ask for. You know, you give a kid an environment where it's nurturing, where there's some love and some compassion, and then you let them have fun. You know, that's what, you know, I believe that makes these kids whole. And so I am so grateful to all of those who work here at Child Protective Services and those that work for DFS. It's really, truly an honor. And as I was coming in today, you know, to be greeted by a couple of the babies and, you know, to know that their parents who may have fallen short are here to visit their babies in hopes of reunifying with their child, that's a great thing as well. We're not here to separate parents from their kids. We just believe that it's important to make sure that our kids are in safe environments. And so we have to make sure that every single decision that we make is the right one on behalf of that child. And I've seen, just like you and many others out there have been cases where we didn't get it right or something have gone wrong. And who was the victim at the end of the day? The child. And we can't afford to have those type of mistakes when it comes to these children. We got to continue to press forward and do what's right for these babies.
And finally, tell me, you have a capital improvement project here to continue to improve this playground and things. Tell me about that, Commissioner.
I want to thank my colleagues so very much for being able to step up and allow this 200,000 plus in funding to come in and do some capital improvement on this campus. I would love to see the day where we didn't need this campus. I would love to see the day where we didn't have to invest any of our taxpayer dollars to come in and have a campus because things were A-OK at home for these children. But that's not the case. And so while they're here, we want this to feel as close to home as it possibly can, or if not better. And so with the beautiful playground equipment and all of the other amenities that we're coming in to bring on this campus with this capital improvement project, I'm elated to be a part of it. And again, I want to thank my board as well as my county management so very much for helping to allocate those resources that we can move this thing forward.
Commissioner, the month of November is Adoption Month. I know you have a very, very personal testimony on that yourself. Tell us a little bit about why every month perhaps should be Adoption Month.
Every month should be Adoption Month, but we'll take November. We appreciate it. November also houses Thanksgiving, and it's a time to be thankful. It's a time for us to be thankful for life, you know, regardless of our ups and downs, and every day may not be a beautiful day. But, you know, Adoption Month is a time when we're asking those men and women out there who may have extra resources, who may have a little bit more room in their home, who may have that love and compassion for a child who just asked for a chance to open up their hearts and their homes to some of these children. And so I know for me, it was a blessing. It was a blessing that, you know, my mom and dad had an opportunity to adopt me. And I'm grateful for the opportunities to be able to be where I am today had it not been for them. But I also say, you know, to my biological mother, whom just passed on, you know, God rest her soul, I'm thankful for her. I thank her for even just understanding that she couldn't keep me, but she loved me enough that she passed me on to someone who could care for me. And that's what it's about, the entire village stepping up to care for these children like someone did for me. So, yeah.
Not everyone watching this is in a position to foster or to adopt. There's CASA programs. There's a new program called Foster Friends, where basically if you're a teacher or a mentor, or if you have, I know our good friends at Wet and Wild, they brought all the foster families out there free of charge. So there's other ways of looking outside the box, which the staff here at DFS is doing to try and involve the entire community to solve this problem, Commissioner.
People around the nation have said some very bad things about Las Vegas, and think that here in Clark County we don't have an infrastructure in place that's loving and caring. You know, when you look at Las Vegas from around the world, you know, you see the beautiful resorts that we have, and we're grateful for our economic engines that's running to keep our economy flowing. But people also around the world need to understand that we share many of the same issues that they have. We have homelessness, we have unemployment, we have crime, we have domestic violence, we have babies who are homeless and in need of families. And so we share many of those things that they deal with around the nation and around the world for that matter. And so, you know, when you look at Clark County and look at a facility like this that's able to house these kids who have nowhere else to go, this is what it's all about, Randy. And, you know, at this point, this day and this time in my life, man, I can't tell you how grateful I am to even be able to have an opportunity to serve. So this is a real cool feeling.
Commissioner, there's a blue ribbon panel headed by Supreme Court Judge Nancy Seda.
Yay, Judge Seda. I love Judge Seda.
And an amazing collection of social and family care pros that are looking at ways to discuss the overall picture of Child Haven, of the entire delivery service, I guess, of these kids. What are your thoughts on this so far,
I love the blue. I love the Blue Ribbon Committee. I love the fact that Judge Seda had the vision to put this together. She understands it because she's one of us. She was adopted. She gets it. And to be able to bring like-minded people who have resources, like-minded people who have connections and things that will help us move this forward, I commend her 100%. I always knew she was a phenomenal woman. She and Dave Courvoisier were two of my confidants that I disclosed to personally years ago that I was adopted. And they always kept that very close to their vests, but they have both always been great supporters of mine. And I think this committee is wonderful. One of my colleagues, Commissioner Susan Brager, who has the heart of, man, she just has the heart of just one of the most compassionate persons on the planet. She's on there. And I know that at the end of the day, there are going to be some great recommendations that's going to come out of that.
And they're going to get those recommendations by December 15th
Yes.
or January 15th, and eventually take them up to the legislature next in February.
Yes.
What do you think will be the next step after that, Commissioner?
I think the next step is we have to stop talking about it. Now it's action time. And so we're going to be up in Carson City. We're going to be talking to our legislators. We're putting faces on this thing. We're not going to, it's just not going to be November is declared as this month. No, we're going to put a face to it. And we're looking for our legislators, which we have some very bright men and women that will convene up in Carson City, that will help us put some things in place that's going to help us eradicate these things. We need to just kind of get people to understand that babies are gifts, you know, and we just can't have them and discard them like they're trash. And so we're going to put a face on this thing, and we're looking for some answers and some results.